It's time for the Glendale Devotional Podcast, a 5-minute weekday devotional ministry from Glendale Baptist Church in Glen, Mississippi. The speaker is John Haynes. Now, here is Brother John.
Well, it's Tuesday, and thank you for joining us today. On yesterday's program, we quickly looked at how God had called to Moses to let him know that Moses would lead the children of Israel out of Egyptian slavery. Moses gave 4 excuses as to why he thought God had the wrong guy. They were good excuses. In fact, they even make a lot of sense. Lord, who am I? You know I killed a guy, right? His second excuse was, I don't know your name, so I can't tell the people about your call. The third excuse, yeah, but what if they just don't listen to me? His final excuse was, Lord, I just can't talk very well. Maybe he had some type of a stutter. Perhaps his anxiety of not feeling accepted anywhere led to a great nervousness in talking to people. When talking to someone, maybe he dropped his head. He couldn't look anyone in the eye. When I was very young, my parents were told by the school that I needed speech therapy. I had great difficulty in speaking. Neither they nor I ever dreamed God would call this young, hyperactive boy to be a pastor, preach at least 3 times a week, and even speak on a weekday podcast program. Oh, Moses tried to convince God that he had the wrong guy. Today, we look at Exodus chapter 4, verse 13. In order to reassure Moses and to prove that God was with him, God performed 2 miracles for Moses to see. Then in verse 13, Moses said, "O my Lord, please send by the hand of whomever else you may send." After all the excuses were exhausted, Moses just flat out said, "Lord, get somebody else." This downtrodden, discouraged man simply didn't want to go. This was a far cry from Isaiah after seeing the Lord and all of his glory. Moses said, "Send someone else." Isaiah said, "Send me." Now, it may be easy for us to criticize Moses for not wanting to go, but let's be very careful here. We all have this reaction from time to time. Lord, I can't talk to my coworkers about you. Let the preachers do it. Give to a missions offering or give money to help hurting families. Let the rich people do it. You want me to teach a Sunday school class? Let the deacons do it. If we were to be honest, we're probably more like Moses and his response than we are of Isaiah and his response. But God had raised up Moses for such a time as this. God didn't want to call someone else. God called Moses to do it. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he told Moses that Moses' brother Aaron had also been called to assist Moses. I tell you the truth today on the authority of the Word of God. God is love, but God is also a consuming fire. And if you're not willing to obey Him and to use our gifts that God has given to us, then He may very well take those gifts and abilities away. This is not to invoke fear, but it's just to let you know that He is calling each Christian to serve Him in a particular way. You'll never find true peace and contentment until you obey God's will for your life. In closing, there is an old song which asks, what kind of church would my church be if every member was just like me? Psalm 100 verse 2 reminds us to serve the Lord with gladness. God knows what He's doing, even if His plans are unclear to us. Trust Him today. Well, would you look at that? 5 minutes goes by so quickly. We at Glendale Baptist Church hope you have a good day today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, in the words of the former Back to the Bible speaker Woodrow Kroll, have a good and godly day.
Thank you for listening each afternoon at 12:05 on Fun 91 for the Glendale Devotional Podcast, presented by Glendale Baptist Church. Their mailing address is P.O. Box 70, Glen, Mississippi 38846.